Good afternoon, everybody. The Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District Number 35 Governing Board calls this meeting to order on June 23rd, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Governing Boardroom, District Office 570, Camino Lito Galindo, Rio Rico, Arizona. Can we please stand for the pledge? Ms. Alma, can you please lead us?
Sure.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, call to order, Ms. Alma de la Riva,
present.
Mr. Brad Beach,
Present.
Mr. Rene Ramirez,
Present.
thank you. Mr. Ben Guerrero. Okay, Mr. Ben Guerrero is absent, and I'm here, Lourdes Vasquez. We do have a quorum. Adoption of the agenda,
No recommended changes, thank you.
no recommendations. Call to the public.
We gotta approve it.
We have to approve it? Okay, motion. We have a motion?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion passes. I'm sorry. Call to the public. There is no call to the public. Moving on, the presentation. Mr. Verdugo, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Tonight we just have a few items. I know that last meeting was some information shared about the pool shade structure. And we've continued to work on shade across the district. So we have the shade structure from the pool as well as new shade structure out at the Calabasas field. I know Mr. Beach is, we want to grow things out there as well, but I know that they're in immediate need of shade. So there's
Is that Calabasas?
shade structure out at the field. So so now we have it on both sides. We have one that was already on the play area.
Yeah.
That we could still
The big
use some
one.
additional shade over there, but this is now on the middle school side that has never had any shade structures out there. So so we're moving forward and continue looking how we can add those shade structures, and hopefully we'll start to grow some trees as well.
That's great. That's great.
Also, want to give an update. Audrey shared some information with me about the aquatic center, the swim lessons. Last year we had about 440. This year we've exceeded that with 444. So
Ooh.
so we're up. Similar numbers, but we're up. Again, many families have chosen to re-enroll after they go to that first time and then re-enroll. Very happy to continue to have the pool open. We're also finalizing it. It's a year late, but the weight facility is almost complete down at the field house. And so once that's done, we'll try to schedule a time for the board to tour that area because we haven't had a chance to go and see that. But it's our new additional weight room, and hopefully by the end of summer, we'll also be opening that up to public as well, because that's always been the goal, is to have the pool open for families as well as the exercise facility. And we have set aside funding for somebody to open that up. So so hopefully that'll be done fairly soon. Also, just from Audrey, wanted to say thank you to the lifeguards. You know, because we've had some new students come in, but they are always doing a great job representing in our district, and always doing a great job with our young kids in the pool and teaching them how to swim, because it's such a life-saving endeavor that we are very happy to have them. And then it also gives those students their first work responsibility, and so, which is always a great thing. Also want to congratulate all of the teams doing things this summer. And summer school we had at the high school, we have a lot of different events happening. I saw the wrestling camp that was out. We've had basketball going on, some boys and girls, all the other sports teams traveling and doing things. So wanted to thank all the coaches. Volleyball camp, I saw that as well. Just a lot of things happening that we're very happy to see happening in the summer, keeping our facilities in use and keeping our students active.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right.
Also, last thing.
Okay, sorry.
You know, I was gone for a few weeks with Mr. Ramirez, and wanted to thank him publicly for taking me on the trip with the students and his guidance, and in Germany and in France and his traveling. It was a great experience. I just wanted to congratulate him because I think it's 22nd time, I believe, that he's done it. And the great thing, and Audra and I are putting together a release that we'll work on next week. We've been trying to get it done, but we are also interviewing some of our participant from the exchange program. Romney, and I can't remember, Mr. Ramirez can remind me of her last name, but she was the first
Haylett. I'm sorry, Romney Haylett.
Haylett. Okay. She was the first valedictorian at Rio Rico High School, who now lives in Germany, and partly because of the exchange program. And so she was able to visit with us, and when we were in Frankfurt, so she got to see her. And then another student, Mr. Ramirez, Nola Sotomayor, came from the Czech Republic, rode a train 3 hours just so he could see Mr. Ramirez. So again, congratulations to him, because the impact that he's had on students many years later, and how they expressed the reason that they're out and were able to really explore going to Europe, moving to Europe, working in Europe, is because of the exchange program. And then also finally, just want to mention, not only was it our Rio Rico students, but we also had one of his German students that was in the exchange program, Nicholas, that came and spent a day with us, touring and the impact that Rio Rico had on him. So I just wanted to again congratulate him. It was great. I've been hearing about the program for many years. I'm still recovering my legs from the 8 to 10 miles every day. But it was a great experience, and really great to visited the school, and we'll be putting together an interview that we did with the school as well, and get to see them. So we visited a lot of places, but visiting the school and seeing their memories of coming to Rio Rico and us going there, and still how it impacts them to this day. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. Okay, moving on, the governing board member report, Ms. Alma de la Riva.
I have nothing to report, but just yes, congratulations, Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Mr. Beach.
Thank you.
I was walking down the ramp and I looked off to the pool area and it saw those, I thought they were just big, huge tents. And I said, man, those gotta be the shade structures. But the kids were loving them. The other day, there are a bunch of little kids, parents under there, while the youngsters are over there learning how to swim. But they're just having a blast down there.
Yeah.
And Mr. Verdugo, you're right. Swimming lessons, it's a lifetime event or activity that these kids can go to learn how to swim. Because when I was in the Marine Corps, we had to do swim quals, and about 80% of the class did not know how to swim. And to me, that just blew my mind. Like, I didn't realize that. So, and we're offering this in our little small town community right here. Let's see. Swim pads, splash pads up and running. Calabasas, yeah, that shade structure out there. I used to ride my bike with Aaliyah, my granddaughter, and we'd come up and all the students would be by the pump house in that little shade right there. They'd be standing there and I'd just be like, no shade, pobrecitos, you know. But now they got a nice little shade structure out there. So eventually we're going to get about 100 trees and it'll look good out there.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, kudos to Mr. Ramirez, and he's been doing this for quite some time. And Romney, I still remember her standing down on that field, giving her little valedictorian speech. The impact that it had on her. She went and studied in Germany, married a German. I don't, Mr. Ramirez, was it a German or?
Oh, yes, she married a German, but unfortunately, her husband died of cancer, the first one. So then later on, she met somebody at the company that she works at, the biopharmaceutical company that she works at. And now she's happily married to him and they have a child.
Yeah. So Romney's doing real well in Germany. Lucas Bergran, we hosted him down here. He's a German exchange student. And he met us over in Germany when we went. And just the impact that he said America had on him. That our freedoms over here, the open spaces, we can go out the backyard and shoot our guns. And, you know, the amount of food, took him to concerts and he got in the mash pit. And he just went back and he goes, man, you know, it opened my eyes to a different culture other than what we see on the news, because he goes on CNN and a lot of the liberal media, it's just negative about America. Yeah. But we come here and you guys are so embracive. Your culture is great. The people are the most friendliest. And those culture exchanges are so important to let our youngsters, know a little bit about our culture. So, yeah. Yep, that's about
That's
it.
great. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, that's a kudos to everything that everybody said. Of course, Mr. Ramirez, congratulations for everything you do with the kids. Okay, I'm next. Okay, I want to go next.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
volunteer. No, but but yeah, that's it's such a great experience. That the kids are getting exposed to as much as for the German kids that it is for our kids. Because without programs like this one that you have, okay, our kids would never be able to go, to and see the things to the depth that they see when they're with them, and I think
Thank
that's
you.
fantastic. Thank
I
you
appreciate that.
for everything. Thank you for everything that you do with that. The aquatic center is, I love the shades. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw them. I haven't been down there personally, but I want to go down there so I can see. I don't do sun, okay? So I need the shade. So, so that's why I haven't gone, but I will be going down there. Also Calabasas. I want to go see those too. And they said that they already finished painting all of the fences now. They're all yellow, right? So I want to go see that too, and the finalization almost done with the weight room. I mean, that's great. We've been wanting that for a while. And again, the teams, congratulations to them. Summer school is done. I think we did really well with that. And we're just, finishing off what we have to do now and, getting ready for our next round, coming up soon. So, hang in there, everybody. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Ramirez.
Huh?
Yeah, Mr.
Mr. Ramirez, I did. Oh, Mr. Ramirez, I forgot you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you to everybody for the nice compliments. I appreciate it. It was a lot of hard work. I was telling the superintendent that when I did the full-blown exchanges, that there was a lot of heavy responsibility having all those kids, living in host families throughout the community. That, by the way, Mr. Verdugo got to see. He got to see the community of Bergen-Enkheim, walked right through the middle of it, and it was awesome. I have to say, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that I would take a superintendent with me on a trip. So this was extremely special to me because I was like a little kid. I was just excited to take him to the school. I mean, I knew he was going to enjoy the scenery, like that Mr. Beach and his wife saw as well when we went up through the forest riding our bicycles and going to the Reichstag and all those things. But for me, this particular trip was exciting because I got to see the superintendent, go to our partner school, and they interviewed him, and at first I was a little concerned. I thought that maybe they weren't. I wasn't sure. Most of the time, I mean, Germans are so organized. They're always going to be ready for you. So, but I thought at first when I didn't see the principal, I was a little concerned. But then she was conducting. She was in these, and she was helping give the Abitur exam, which is an exam that they give in Germany at the 13th grade. It's oral and verbal. I mean, oral and written. It's not just like our final exams. And so this is really serious because if you pass exam, you get to go to the university and then your tuition is paid. And so little things like that, actually big things like that, the superintendent got to see that. I think maybe he was surprised as much as I was. Are you still there? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
So, just a second. There, I'm sorry. You guys still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, somebody was calling me, that's why. So I got distracted, but the superintendent got to see how serious that exam is. And if you pass that, by the way, you don't have to pay tuition. So that was really big. But it was nice, like the superintendent said, to see people like Nicholas Arden. I think that Mr. Beach met him too when we came out of the Reichstag, which is like the House of Representatives in Berlin, Germany. And he walked around with us and he talked to the superintendent about his experience. And like Mr. Beach said, a lot of those kids that come out here, they're really shell shocked when they see how much space we have. And I think that the superintendent now appreciates having open space after having been in Germany and France, seeing how we don't have the kind of space in a even in the places we stayed like you do in the United States. But it was a really enriching experience. And like he said, we got to see Romney Haylett, who was a valedictorian, 1998 valedictorian, and she's done a really great job of I mean, she did a good job of studying out there. Not only got her master's, but she got her PhD in Germany. And so you can just imagine with that how challenging that must have been doing all of that in the German language. And so she's been very successful and now works for a biopharmaceutical company and has moved to Frankfurt. And she's just doing really well. And I'm sure a lot of you, uh, maybe several of you remember her from the past. I'm not sure, but she's just a great kid. And also Noel Sotomayor, well, he's no pushover. He was always a bright kid. He graduated, by the way, in the class of 2010. And he was always a really bright kid, took AP classes and so forth. So I was impressed at how he had improved his German skills. You wouldn't believe the phrases he used and all. But all in all, I mean, I could just go on and on, but all in all, I think it was really great how the superintendent got to see how the schools run over there. And, God bless him, he was asking good questions over there and trying to understand how the system worked. But I'll tell you, even if Mr. Verdugo doesn't remember everything, I think just the fact that it changes your perspective, it makes you see a different culture, like Mr. Beach had mentioned, several of you, and it changes your frame of mind. I think that was invaluable. And also learning how Germans really can move people around and through mass transportation. And they're really something else. So, but it was a really enriching experience, and I was so proud to have the superintendent there. And I'll tell you, he was my lucky charm because he really was. You can ask Mr. Beach how many times we had delayed trains and all kinds of interesting things that went on. I swear, I never was on a trip where everything just worked like clockwork. There wasn't one late train. Everything was on time, and the weather was gorgeous. We didn't have those blazing hot days that Mr. Beach remembers. We had just cool days, and it was a little rainy, but hardly anything to speak of. We didn't even have to put a poncho on, not one time. And so it was great. He was good luck charm, and I'm so happy that he went, and I want to thank him publicly for all that he did and his wife to help my group because it went smooth as silk. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, moving on. Information, discussion, actions, the fiscal year 27 proposed budget. Mr. Verdugo?
Thank you. This is our first draft of our proposed budget for fiscal year 27. I know that we reviewed most of it. What you'll see is just kind of a follow-up, including the forms, which are still not out, I believe. So we'll come back in August with the
final
first change. But this will give you an idea of because by statute, we need to approve our proposal. Turn over to Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Verdugo. Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. As Mr. Verdugo mentioned, tonight it's just formalizing all of the discussions around our budget that we've been having for the last months, right? We started those discussions internally with our principals and our department heads. Late November, early December, we worked through the spring and those discussions, and we came to you requesting approvals, obviously, for salary increases, which we'll highlight here in a minute. But tonight it's all about just formalizing and putting all the numbers and all the initiatives that we've been discussing into the state forms. Unfortunately, the state legislature did not adjourn into the controversy. And so the forms that you have in front of you are preliminary forms, and they captured certain elements that are not going to change when I come back to you. make it the third year in a row that the legislature approves those amounts for us. Nonetheless, they're not part of tonight's forms, but like I said, I will incorporate them in the first revision of the year. With that being said, what we do have in tonight's forms, like I said, is the 2% increase on the per student amount. And also, I want to remind the board that my projected enrollment, which is the foundation of how we build our budget, is at 3,289, as I presented when I did the budget presentation. That is capturing or projecting a drop of 176 students. And every Friday I wait when it comes out from the Welcome Center and that's the enrollment update for the week. So every Friday I'm like, where are we? So as of last Friday, we were at 3,137 students. Okay, so we are 52 students short of what I'm projecting for the year. We still have time, and it's amazing to see the community just starts thinking schools and back to school and everything after the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
It's very quiet right now. Nobody wants to think about schools. I think everyone has Walmart.
Yeah.
Skip that area.
Skip that area. But then we should start to see some movement. Like I said, usually after the 4th of July. Okay, so we'll continue to track our enrollment.
Just real quick before we leave that, just wanted to acknowledge that with the board to make sure that they understand, because it's a big issue across not only the state but across the country with declining enrollment. And one of the things that you're seeing with schools having to close or large deficits in budgets is because they didn't right size throughout the process. And so I just wanted to highlight that as we formalize our budget. Thank Ms. Brown for that we've been able to right size every year. So every year when we come to you, we're saying, okay, this is what we have, this is what we're projecting, and we right size. And so we make sure that we live within our budget and what our projected budget is. So if, you know, what you talk about, if we, there's been years where we've exceeded what we projected, which is great. And then we can add that money back to our carryover. And so it's something that's very important for us to make sure that we're on that tight budget, but still meeting all the needs of every student, every staff member in our community to make sure that we're providing the best education we possibly can. Because again, what I always see across, people always ask me everywhere I go, you know, how's your budget? How are you guys able to give a raise? Because again, many districts were not able to give it. And it's because we live within our budget. We don't exceed, we make sure we right size it every year. We look at what our essentials are, what is going to be our priority, and then we fund that. And I thank the board for the support of doing that as well. But again, it goes back to Ms. Brown and always being prepared to make sure that we're looking ahead versus trying to play catch up, because I think that's what some of these districts unfortunately are doing. And then you see that they end up having to close schools or let people go. I mean, I just saw like it's not affecting us in our state, but Chicago, you know, is letting go of like 2,000 teachers. I mean, it's so I think we need to have Karen send something to Chicago that we were hearing over here because it's happening everywhere, you know, and it's something that, again, we are just very fortunate to make sure that we're budgeting the right way. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I echo what Mr. Verdugo said. Thank you to the board. Thank you to the leadership where they support the recommendation, right? To make sure that we live and we make our operation successful within our means, and that we're not overextending ourselves with the commitments that we make. And that's something that we've done. I think we have not only done, but have accomplished throughout the years, that our compensation package is something that we can sustain. We do not give a salary increase, then we have to then the following year scratch our head and determine how we're going to sustain that. Or going to take something away from them, which is just give and take. We try to make that compensation package something that we can sustain for the years to come for our staff. And I think that as a result of that, we're starting to see that teachers are staying with us, right? And yes, we have turnover, like, you know, not only across the state, but also a problem that's a nationwide dilemma with educators. But we have in our state what it's called the Teacher Experience Index. And the Teacher Experience Index, it's a measure that it's pulled based on a report that HR works on diligently for weeks in the fall, right, Kim? And it gathers a lot of information about all of our educators and our payroll, right? Years of service, years of experience, their education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So much information that goes to the state, right? Then the state analyzes the information and generates what is called the Teacher Experience Index. That if the average of the teacher experience that's in our district exceeds the state's average, then we get a little bump, an increase that we get to factor into our budget, right? So in our case, the Teacher Experience Index for next year, it's at 1.0167, a little bit higher than 1. And what it does, it gives us a little bit more money because it's supposed to be recognizing that the more experienced staff that you have on payroll, the more expensive it's going to be, right? So that's what that indicates. But to me, I've always been reading it as a retention tool. You know, are we retaining teachers? If we weren't, then our TI would be at 1, you know, and that's the lowest that it can go, but we would not be getting any kind of adjustment. So I do want to highlight that what we are doing, the measures that you have been approving are working. And I think that our teachers are feeling valued in our district, and it's starting to show through that Teacher Experience Index. That's the way that I'm reading the TI, not just as an add-on to the budget. Another thing that is part of tonight's budget that it's not going to change when I come back to you in August is the 9% override, right? Our community approved the 9% override for our district, and that is calculated for this coming year at $2,089,900. So that is that add-on that we get to our general fund or as a result of the support that we get from our community. And in July, I'll come to you with the recommended tax rates, and then we'll discuss the cost associated with that, right? I do not have that information with me today, but it's always part of the board meeting where we adopt the budget. On the other hand, the amount that we received per student in the capital fund is static. It has not changed, right? The state is giving us, like I said, that one-time add-on that I'll be factoring in later. But as far as the amount that we receive per student for capital dollars, that has not changed in 24 years. So from preschool to 8th grade, we receive $549.45. And for high school students, we receive $600.86 per student. That's how much capital we get. So just I'm gonna go real quick through the highlights of what the budget that we're looking at tonight is funding. And I'm gonna concentrate on our operating fund, and I'm gonna concentrate on our compensation plan, because that in itself, remember that salaries and benefits make up over 80% of your budget. So for next year, we're looking at providing and these are all actions that have been already taken care of by you approving them in previous agendas. A 4% increase to all eligible employees, a 2% adjustment to the certified placement guide. We are funding to be able to afford a 6% increase in medical insurance premiums, and 5% increase in dental insurance. We reclassified, and this was the big item for next year, the hourly rate for bus drivers to bring them to market. We reclassified 2 positions, student activities technician to a specialist, and we reclassified the accounting specialist to accounting coordinator. Staffing changes at Rio Rico High School, and this is where the right sizing starts to take place, right? We removed 1.3334 classroom teachers due to enrollment adjustments that we're projecting for the high school. We are adding 1 additional assistant track coach. We are adding 1 additional lead lifeguard position. Mr. Beach mentioned the fantastic program that we have the pool. It is becoming more and more popular every summer. You can see the numbers, which is great. We have new assistant to the principal position at Rio Rico High School, and we have a reclassification of CTE office specialist to secretary. Those are the changes that are coming to Rio Rico High School. Moving on to Calabasas. We are doing a reduction of 2 classroom teachers due to enrollment. Guatimundi, the position of behavioral coach, the length of the contract was modified to add 15 additional days. To the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Assessing, the secretary position was reduced through attrition because Ms. Han is retiring and the duties are being absorbed by the grad scholars. In student services, we are adding 1 additional self-contained teacher. We're also adding 5,000 stipends for speech language pathologists in an effort to entice those speech pathologists to come directly with us instead of through agencies. In my department, my food service office specialist is retiring, and that position is not being replaced. Instead, one of my accounts payable position is going to be absorbing those responsibilities. In transportation, we created a new driver in training position. And we have, like always, a set aside of 1 teaching position in case of any. So that's the staffing. As far as allocations to the departments in the schools. In the athletics department, we did a $25,000 one-time additional allocation for the striping and sanitizing of the track. So we have all these beautiful brand new facilities. Now we'll have to start maintaining those brand new facilities. For the communications office, we increased Audra's budget by $10,000. And this is for the rebranding that comes as a result of the strategic plan that was presented by Megan. It came with the new, remember, changes to the educate everyone every day and so that all of that is going.
Rebranding.
The rebranding. Rebranding, yeah.
Rebranding, some advertising and professional development. The office of the superintendent received a $2,000 increase for professional development, and the budget for the governing board received a $9,100 increase for professional development. As far as operating expenses, we are increasing our utilities to account for new square footage at Rio Rico High School. We're also increasing our liability insurance for renewal adjustments due to the new square footage.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing a 3.4% increase in the cost of the contract that was approved for maintenance, custodial, and grounds. So that are the highlights of our operating fund. On the other hand, our capital fund, which is the fund that we use to pay for items such as textbooks, instructional aids, library books, furniture and equipment, technology, hardware, software, facilities, and vehicles. The allocations are as follow. At the top, we have the curriculum rotation and instructional aids with over $800,000. Then we have technology and copier rotations, network licensing, and set aside for technology replacements at $330,000. Athletics at $515,000. Facilities at $407,000. Transportation at $83,000. Allocation for furniture and equipment $7,800. Business office and HR software renewals $96,000. Student services equipment and software renewals $39,000. Communication equipment and software renewals $30,000. Fine arts equipment and uniforms $25,000. And we keep in contingency $1.7 million with.
So we still have that.
Yes. And in the operating fund as well, we keep in both funds, in capital and in M&O, we keep contingency in both.
Just before we leave that as well, just with the technology, it's also including the phased in new interactive boards that will be utilized by teaching staff. I know Mr. Beach was really had a lot of questions about that, and we visited classrooms with those that had and those that didn't have. And so we're phasing that in. If you remember, we discussed that during the budget process, and I think the reason I want to talk about that as well is because many districts, because of their financial constraints, move capital funding into one-time use for staffing, salaries and so forth. And we've never done that. And every time we go to the budget, I want to make sure we highlight that because I think that's also an important piece of retaining teachers and staff because then we can do things like buying these interactive boards as well as maintaining high quality textbooks or text curriculum materials for our students. Because there are some districts that have not renewed their materials in over 20, 25 years. And so that is something that we're very proud of. And again, it all goes back to tightening your budget, making sure you're using the funding in the right place. And so that's something that we've always done. And I just want to make sure that the board sees that and the community understands that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Verdugo. Every time we come to a board meeting and the board has done a tremendous job at having groups that come to the board and are being recognized. I won't forget the little girl that said, we have a lot of reading materials.
Oh, yes. Yes.
The little things that
Oh, yeah.
I get to smile behind the scenes. On the other hand, the special projects and other grants, those are still pending, right? We have not received final allocations from the state or the feds. So we'll capture the final amounts in our grants when we do the budget revision. Hopefully we'll have our understanding. We are not expecting any significant changes in that area, I can tell you that. Not like the scare that we were having last year, this time of the year, where you're not gonna get federal money and we're not we're getting any of those messages this year. So we're expecting to have a very stable funding source in the area of grants.
That's right.
But I'll have the final numbers for you when we do it. So just to summarize, the proposed budgets for our major funds, for operating fund, we're looking at $43.6 million. As part of that $43.6 million, it includes the $2,089,970 in our 9 M&O override to our community. And it also, I highlighted the contingency of $4 million that we have in that fund. On the other hand, in our capital fund, $4,003,607. And as I mentioned, within that fund, we have a contingency of 1.7. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Ms. Del Rio?
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Yesenia, no, I do not have any questions. I do, however, want to say, and I know I say this on behalf of my fellow board members, we were at this conference that we attended in Flagstaff, and it's exactly what they were talking about to the one session that we attended. I know you spoke a little bit about it at the last meeting, where the enrollment is declining and it is affecting, and it's just statewide. And we even had this one superintendent give us a long presentation of what all they had to do to close a school and how it affected, the staff, cutting the teachers and everything. So yes, we do see all the hard work that you and Mr. Verdugo do, and the fact that we don't have to go through any of that, it just makes us really, really happy. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Emma. And if I may add, I was at the board meeting with the trust last week. Yes, I think it was last week. And one thing that looks out of whack, and you can see it when districts do not right size. The trust is ensuring more assets statewide now that we have less students in the history of the state. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
So it's about how we're using our resources. It's about really using the resources that we have and evaluating the resources that we have, how we're using them, and are we using them to its maximum potential? Because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense from a lot of different angles. It doesn't make sense.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Beach?
Yeah, going back to the conference where not only high schools were now competing with the charter schools, but we sort of know the numbers that go to the charter schools. I think the one that threw the monkey wrench is the homeschooled kids that are now, it went from like $1 million program to almost unsustainable right now. And a lot of our monies are going there. Hopefully the state kind of address that. But Yeah, I want to thank our community on these overrides. Because the millions of dollars that are brought into our coffers allows our students all these opportunities with all our beautiful shade structures, swimming pools, weight rooms, classrooms, smart boards. You know, if it wasn't for being that supportive, we wouldn't have a lot of that. So appreciate it.
Exactly. Thank you. Mr. Ramirez?
I have no questions, and thank you, Isela, for all that you do.
Thank you, thank you. I don't have any questions either. I just also the same thing that like Miss Alma de la Riva said, you know, when you go to these conferences and you see the struggles that the other schools have and you're like, oh my God, you know, we're not there. And thank God. And it has to do a lot with you, you know, excuse me, with your, excuse me, always being prepared, always seeing ahead, always, you know, like buckling your belt, you know, in some cases. I have something, excuse me. Excuse me, I got excited. Sorry about that. But that has a lot to do with it, you know, because we really don't see what's going on around us. We hear it, but once you see it there and you see how the people are struggling and you're like, oh my God, thank God that we don't do that because, you know, we have those $4 million or those, you know, four in one and four in another. And all of these people are, you know, they're grabbing from places that they don't even have it. And, you know, and we're lucky because of that, you know, and we're lucky because you guys are always prepared. You guys always have that. And I keep saying it all the time also, that vision, okay, of what might happen, you know, what might be done and how are we going to survive, you know, and how are we going to move on without having to cut, you know, something that's already in place. Okay, so thank you so much for the magnificent job that you guys do. Thank you very, very much.
Madam President, and thank you for your kind words, but it wouldn't happen without this.
Yeah, and it's because we're all a good team. We're all a team and we're all in it for the same reason. So, you know, that's the way it is, right? Thank you.
And it is a motion item, so the.
Alrighty, so does- yes.
Proposed budget as presented.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget as presented by Mrs. Brown, Chief Financial Officer.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed,
Aye.
nay. Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Yeah, aye, okay. Motion passes. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I have. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you very, very much for the presentation. Moving on, 2025-26 Superintendent Performance Base Pay Goals Determination. Mr. Verdugo. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm good. I have a string right here.
Take a recess or?
No, I'm good. I hope I don't bother you when you're talking.
You never bother.
Thank you. You love me.
So, tonight is the annual, every June, our last meeting is my presentation of what we've, it's my performance, it's kind of what we've done as a team. And so I always wanted to start first by thanking the board for having faith in me to allow me to continue to be the superintendent of the school district. Now, finishing 12 years, which is, I know makes me, as they say, unicorn in the superintendent. Having been able to do this, it seems like first time getting here and to do this. This is the 12th time doing this presentation. It just is amazing to, again, just thank the board, the staff, teachers, and the community for allowing me to be the superintendent of the school district, because it's something that I'm very proud of. I think the board knows that every time I go out anywhere, I get to out that our district does, that are involved in how we run our district and provide. Perfect example was had to meet with a parent for a negative thing. But at the end, the conversation was very positive. And she said to me, I just want you to know that I tell everybody that if your kids are not successful at Rio Rico, it's because it's their fault. Because they have so many opportunities to do amazing things all the way from elementary to high school that there is no excuse for them not to be successful. And I was like, well, that's great to hear. I said, I hope you go and share that everywhere. It's like, I do. She's like, every barbecue, everything. She's like, I tell everybody about that. And to me, that's a message that I hope continues to get out, because I think our district is continually improving and always trying to be better. So with that, that kind of goes into the presentation. I've tried to incorporate the new, I want to thank Meg and the team that worked on our new strategic plan. So I tried to incorporate all of the new this as well. And so, the dream learn lead now is and hopefully will be embedded into all of our work because it's something that I know that team worked really hard to do. Including the mission and vision. So the vision, every student is empowered to dream boldly, lead with purpose, make a positive impact in their community and the world. And that's something as a superintendent that I was very happy to be part of that team to develop this, but it's something that I think our community is having that vision that our community can do anything. I talk about that trip that I got to see European education and the things, the opportunity that they have, but it still comes back to the U.S. system. I think is still the best in the world for us to be able to provide for every student, and every student in our community has the opportunity to do something and be whatever they want to be. So that vision is very important for me. Mission, again, we create safe, inclusive learning environments where every student is inspired to learn, challenged. That's one thing, as you see when I talk about my performance, that we want to make sure that we continue to hold ourselves accountable in everything we do and push our students to excel and not settle for things. I think that's one of the things that, which is amazing to me, but this is also year 20 for me within the district. When I first came to the district, I laughed because one of the people that were hiring me at the time said, "Oh, here and it'll be a stepping stone." And I said, "Well, I'm here 20 years and that person is gone." So I'm very proud that this is my community, and I've been such a big part of it for so long. But it also comes with the responsibility of us trying to be the best we can be and continually trying to be the best that we can. Next, please. And then we also adjusted our values this last year. Before I get into the accountability part of this, one of our values is accountability, and it's holding ourselves and others to that high standard. And I always talk about when I was a principal and I had such a great staff, and I'm as a superintendent in the same way had such a great staff. But I always tell people that I had people like Ms. Vasquez, who was, that person on campus. I didn't have to discipline others because they were disciplining themselves. And so it made me look like a great principal because they were always taking care of each other. And this is the way we do things. This is our standard. And I think we continue to do that in our district. We still have a lot of work to do, but part of our values is that accountability and making sure that we continue to hold ourselves accountable, including me. And I always tell people, if you see me not meeting the expectation or meeting the standard, you need to tell me. And so that's one of the things that I will share tonight. And the reason I bring it up is because that's what part of what tonight is about as well, is holding me accountable for making sure that not only are we saying we're doing these things, but that there is verification that we're actually doing these things. Please. And this is a continuation of our values, but the new ones. I know we removed competitiveness with resilience, but that's still, it goes together because I, again, want all of our students and staff and everybody within our community to embrace that challenge and know we can do hard things. And not only know we can do hard things, but enjoy doing hard things, because I think that's our culture. I think that's what we want to do. We want to be the best that we can be. So next. So the first goal, and I just wanted to introduce those things and how they kind of flow into what holds me responsible and what we're trying to do within the district. The first one is student achievement and accountability. And the thing that I would say, our assessment data for this year has come back, and we're up and down in some of the school things. But one thing that we have really improved in is our Azella scores. And we're hoping that that will have an impact on the letter grades and get some of our school sites up to an A. We were very fortunate this last year, every school was a B. And so our district was a B. But again, we don't settle. We want to be an A in everything that we do. We want to be the best that we can be. And so last year, again, we had some A, B, and C. The year before, this last year, we were all Bs. So hopefully we'll get some of those school sites up to an A. But we'll come back with those data presentations in the fall. But again, this is one of the basis of what we do as a school district, with our personalized learning, standards-based grading, all of those different things that we push our students to do to be successful. And you'll hear me talk about our dual enrollment and other things that fall into that. But how are we graded? Our letter grade. That's what the state, and we know there's a lot of components that go into that. And so tonight, as we talk about the letter grades and student achievement, we're doing well, but we can do better. And that's what I always say. We're always good. Next slide, please. Other student achievement accomplishments of note, again, the one-to-one technology continues, but I wanted to share with the board, because one of the things that we've talked about with the board is that something that we want to continue to have screen time. How are we utilizing technology? Do we want teachers to have more of the tools like Mr. Beach was talking about with the interactive boards versus the student on the screen? Because there's a lot of studies of countries that are moving away from one-to-one. So the team is looking at that, and what impact does that have? Not only from instruction, but financially, is that because we're going to be seeing a cliff coming pretty soon with investment dollars in technology. So we're reviewing that. And Megan, the TLA office, has worked with the principal and done an outstanding job. We'll come back in the fall and discuss that with the board as well, what their findings have been so far and what the recommendations are for the school sites and how that impacts us. But we do need to have state-of-the-art technology for our students and our staff. And so that's something that is a positive, but also we want to make sure that we're using it the right way. Again, we piloted into smart board technology, and we'll be phasing that in this year for 26-27. Dual enrollment continues to be a positive for our district. The concern is now Pima Community College is asking the possibility of funds for that. Charging fees, and we're working with them because we know we're one of the probably districts that would be most impacted. And so we're exploring other partners because they're not the only game. There's other partners that we're exploring to make sure that we're providing the best dual enrollment opportunities for our students, and they know that. But it is something that has had a very positive impact within our district and students, and we're still pursuing by the time that I retire. And that's one thing I'd also say, this tonight begins my last 3 laps to per se, because after tonight, then I will present 3 more times and then retire off into the sunset. But for that, there is a lot of work to get done. There is a lot of things that I want to make sure we accomplish or set up whoever comes in to be even more successful than me, that you forget about me. And so by 2029, we want to have our students graduating with associate's degrees. We do have students graduating with 30 plus, 24 plus credits, but not that associate's degree, which we want them to do. So that's a dual enrollment goal that we have as well. In the continuation, the middle school is now seeing additional opportunities, additional history, English, algebra, geometry. And so we're implementing a lot of things that are successful. And as I mentioned at the beginning, like that parent said, there is just so much opportunity. And I didn't put it in here, and I'm as I'm thinking about it now, The one thing I also wanted to mention that I should have put in here was our fine arts. We are one of the only districts that continues to provide fine arts opportunities for our students. You know, and you see the artwork that this year we've brought in so many samples of our artwork, the dance program, you know, the theater program, all the different art things that we're able to do. And that goes with financial support and being able to make sure that our students are supported, not only in athletics and in those, but also CTE programs, as well as the fine arts. And the fine arts has done an outstanding job. And when we roll out the strategic plan as well, their work with film and TV, you know, doing the video and voiceovers and things that, you know, that was all student driven. So, you know, we have a lot of opportunity for our students, and I neglected to put that in here as well. And one of the things that I love to always go and talk about, although last year was the first time that we had dropped under that 80, we had 89.9, we were still technically 90% graduation rate. We're back up to 94%. So that's something that is important for us. But again, we always want to get to 100%. Next. And then again, the things that we do to make sure that we're getting out to the school sites, making sure that we're following a process. Over the 12 years, we've continued to highlight our process, make sure that it's something that our leadership is a part of, the board is part of, with our IAPs, presenting that to the board, getting your input, getting feedback, talking with all of the departments, all the way from our budgeting, starting even earlier this year, you know, starting all the way back in December with our budget, because we want to give our staff a voice and not only what we see as a vision, but what do they see as a vision, and how to be able to use their funds at their school site to make them successful. The last two things I highlighted there is something, again, I want to thank the board, again, holding me accountable, making sure. I think there was a question that I was not visiting the sites as much. And so we said, hey, let's schedule some time and we visit the sites. So I think, and we called it the lunch and learn. You know, we visit the sites and we learn what's happening on the campus. We met with students, met with staff members. I think that's been invaluable for the board, but also for me as well, to hear what's happening directly from staff, directly from students. And so that's something that very proud of, that we've been able to implement. And then the last thing, and again, just to Ms. Padilla, Meg, for all of her work and that team to work with the Strategic Planning Committee, because that's something I know that Leadership Academy, which I was in Germany, I didn't get the chance to see the rollout there, but we are rolling it out to the district this summer, as well as at the Welcome Back throughout the year. And it's something that is our next step. It's our next 5-year plan to how are we going to continue to grow as a district. Next. So with all those things, based on the academic performance, my recommendation is that I approached the goal. I would love to say I met the goal, but without getting to an A, I just cannot, again, hold myself accountable for those. So I say I approached that goal. So any questions about that first goal?
Ms. De La Riva, any questions?
No, Mr. Verdugo, no questions, but I know you have very hard expectations on yourself.
Upon yourself.
Yeah, upon yourself. So that's what keeps you from meeting it. But okay, thank you, Mr. Verdugo.
Mr. Beach?
I have no.
None? Mr. Ramirez?
I have no questions.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of like where Ms. De La Riva is as well, because I think that, you know, you've worked really hard, and like she says, you know, you're very tough on yourself. And I know that, you know, even though I would recommend that you put meat, and I know that you won't do it, and I thank you for, you know, for being that way, because that keeps us, you know, fighting, you know, the same thing, because we're all in it. Like I've always said, we're all in it together, and we want you to be, you know, up there as, you know, meets or exceeds and all that stuff. But, you know, But thank you for everything that you do. I mean, yes, we are more visible. We are more involved in the schools. You know, everybody knows us, even the little kids, you know, the people that, I mean, I know that all of the kids from like, you know, from that we taught or that are from the schools or whatever, they see you out downtown and they meet you. Now I've got people from San Cayetano, I've got kids from, you know, from other schools that know exactly who I am, you know, and that means a lot to me. It's because they've noticed that we've been there, that we're present there, you know, we're being informed, we're being, you know, we ask those tough questions, you know, we try to, you know, to do the best for them and stuff. And I think that's, you know, that's where you're at too. So, you know, thank you very much for everything that you do. And
Thank you. And again, it's something that, you know, this is always of the four goals, this is always the hardest one for me, because I just have such high expectations for where we need to be. And I think I've met it one time when we were an A district, and so I accepted that. But at this point, until we're an A, I just, it's an approach. It's for me.
when we will be.
Yeah, it's what we will do.
When we will be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next goal is the high quality staff, and that's something that Ms. Brown was talking about. One of the things that if you look at the budget, one of the things that I'm very happy to see is, you know, we have to post it on our website, is the average salary of our teachers, and that is now $60,000.
Exactly.
So which is a positive. That's
Very positive.
over $2,000 from the previous year.
Mhm.
And so, you know, really working on giving them as much as we possibly can and responsible. That's one of our main priorities, is making sure staff are compensated and supported. So again, we work together for that. Collaboration is one of our values, to make sure that we're working together to meet the goals of our students and the collective success of the district. So next slide, please. So what are we doing to have high quality staff? I want Karen as well. She has done an outstanding job in her first year figuring out HR, how to really find new staff members, new teachers. One of the things that I would say has been a positive of the negative that's happening across the state with schools closing, and we're seeing a lot more applicants, which is a positive thing. And I think that, yeah, it's unfortunately for a negative reason, but it's a positive for us that we're able to have interview process, you know, and not just go try to find one person, but having multiple applicants for positions and being able to select who we think is best versus just trying to fill a spot. And so that's something that we're happy to see. Again, one of the things that I also share with community members is continue the support of the board for hiring retirees or getting people to retire and come back. Because again, that's been a big incentive for community members, even from neighboring districts, to come to us because of the board support for allowing us not only to hire them, but hire them with experience, and then also to pay the ARS, the retirement system, and so they don't have to pay that penalty. So it's something that has been very positive in not only recruiting teachers, but retaining teachers as well. The longevity stipend, again, HR working on onboarding with the online recruiting, electronic, again, 4% pay raise. That is something that very positive. All the staff members I talk to continue to say thank you, because they keep hearing their colleagues across the state not getting raises or getting just the 2% cost of inflation if they were able to. And so again, that's very important for our staff. Continue to work and provide insurance coverage. We're always looking at that. I think it's been positive having the IMS. I think we're seeing more and more usage of that. Individuals going across the line because of our proximity, and that's not only saving them money, but saving the district money, and hopefully in the long term. And so that's something that, again, having that as part of our incentives as well has been really positive. And then going back to Karen in our Grow Your Own model, we've been really working, and I appreciate her and Brandy and the TLA office working on how can we continue to hire teachers, get new staff, quality people, in different areas, including leadership, professional development opportunities for both certified and classified. And then the one thing that I always say in the board probably hears it from any teacher that they see, class size. And our class size continue to be some of the smallest across not only Southern Arizona, but the entire state. If you look at numbers across the districts, our class size continue to be some of the smallest. Next. So based on that and all that we're doing with that and how we've been able to retain and increase our compensation for staff members, I put that I met that goal. So any questions?
Mr. Riva? Mr. Beach?
I have none.
None. Mr. Ramirez?
I have none, thank you.
And I have none either. I think you met. Thank you.
Next one, is the school climate and what we're doing as a district to make sure that our schools are safe, vibrant. I think, again, commend the board for ending our relationship with our previous facilities company and looking for a new one because they were not meeting our expectations. And I think that the new one has done a better job of maintaining our facilities and working towards what we expect. And so, that's been a positive. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the field house completion, weight equipment finally will complete. A year later, I was looking at the presentation and reviewing, and I was like, I had the same comment last year.
Yeah.
But it took a year. There was a lot of complications with ordering equipment and other things. But it'll finally be done, and we're looking forward to opening that up and again having the community use. Swimming pool, other site modifications, learning spaces, playgrounds, the paint, the weatherization, Calabasas, and they're working on the drainage issue, and of course, there's been complications. Which, again, being the principal there, when we did that, we spent a few $1 million when I was principal trying to correct that. And there was complications then. And now, again, complications. And so hopefully it'll be done by the end of the summer. That's the plan. But of course, we'll have a contingency plan in case there's things that happen. But those are things that, I think, Dr. Linderville, Ms. Brown, working with SFB to make sure that we get all of those things taken care of in our facilities. And then, the all district welcome back continues to grow. We actually have a meeting tomorrow to prep for that as well. And also part of the gym facility where hopefully we'll have a video board instead of having to rent something. We'll hopefully have our own video board now on the wall that will be there permanently, that will be large enough to see. It will save us some money from our annual welcome back as well.
Cool. Great.
On the school climate, expanding opportunities for students, the CT programs, again, our bill enrollment, elementary science, STEM classes, adding technology, counseling at every school site. Again, value all the stakeholders of the district, with IBB, hearing what they have to say, all the different avenues for providing voice, including us going in at the board and myself meeting with the teachers and students. Again, discipline, again, commend the board for taking a harder line on saying, hey, we need to look at our discipline and how are we doing. That's improved at the school sites. It still needs to improve, and we'll be coming back in July, reviewing dress code again, just to make sure it's where we want it to be. But those are things that, again, having the partnership with the board, staff, and leadership has really, I think, helped the district continue to move forward. And then the keyless entry and safety, Robert has done a great job, Dr. Linderville, with working on our cameras. We're adding additional cameras to make sure that we have some gaps that we had. We're making sure that those gaps are covered, and the keyless entry and different things that we've incorporated. Next. So again, with all those, the climate, I think, is very positive, that it met the goal. Any questions on that goal?
Ms. Riva? Mr. Beach?
No, I'll just say, as a whole, You know, looking at our school with our dual enrollment, our JTED, our sports facility, club, CTE, FFA, teacher support, admin support, all the decisions that are made, you include the students, our community, our teachers, our admin. I was on that committee when we did the mission and vision statement, and we got surveys from everyone. So a lot of what we do at our schools are not just driven by Mr. Verdugo, it's the whole community involved. And under your leadership, Dave, and your team, I think we're on the right path. You got a good vision, and just keep up what you're doing. It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
That's correct. Thank you. Mr. Ramirez?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a big fan of dual enrollment. I've seen it grow, but I think one of the biggest challenges that dual enrollment faces is finding people that, or being able to acquire people that have a master's degree, because you can't have those courses, I believe, without having a master's degree. So it's really tough because we have a shrinking pool of applicants, and it's tough. I think that's the biggest challenge to dual enrollment. But I love it because I'm a big fan of it, and I think it provides our kids opportunity to get college credit.
Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Ramirez. One of the goals that hopefully, will be put into place, hopefully before you leave us anyway, would be, to get some of those teachers that have masters or our own teachers to come down so that we don't have to travel with our kids up to Tucson, because, that's kind of like a double-edged sword with our kids, because there's so many kids. Yeah, up to Tucson. The JTech.
Yeah, that's not dual enrollment.
No, that's not the dual
A little
enrollment.
different, yeah.
Okay, it's a little different, but
Occasional
yeah, but I thought that was kind of like, to get some of those teachers to come down and give those kids classes here. I bet you that it would double or maybe even triple, at one point, because there's a lot of kids that don't do it because they want to play sports. And if you're doing something like that, with JTED or with whatever, your dual enrollment and you have to travel, it takes you away from, the sports and and the dramas and the cheerleadings and all of that stuff. And I think that if there's an opportunity to bring in, or to get teachers here with their masters and their, and certified so that they can do that dual enrollment here, I think that would be, a better thing.
That's something that we're trying to be creative.
Mhm.
We've actually worked with Karen as well to do an audit and inventory of all of our staff. So for instance, and I think I mentioned before, like the possibility of having Ms. Brown teach a business class
There you
because of her master's ability.
go. There.
And maybe possibly working with Pima to have it be dual, where it's adult education and student education and in the evening, and so working on some of those things, those logistics, and trying to be creative with that, and modifying possibly some of the schedule, because we're not tied to the hours any longer, because we're able to have students figure out different times of day to go to school and teachers. So we need to get more creative, and I think that's something that we'll be working on in the next year to try to figure out how we can do that and utilize the staff that we, as Mr. Ramirez said, that already have masters. Maybe because I know we have elementary teachers that have master's degrees, but they're teaching elementary, and they can teach something at the high school level.
The high school level.
That may be a dual enrollment opportunity.
That's what I was talking about.
But again, that's the funding. We have to figure out that funding and.
Exactly. I get you. Thank you.
And then the final goal is the community involvement, which I think has been one of the strengths that I've had as the superintendent, because I think one of the very first things that was asked of me when I first was hired was to make sure that I'm involved in not only community locally, regionally, but statewide and nationally. And we've been able to do that as a team, to have everybody be involved in different things. From, and Ms. Brown was just again on the trust board, so Dr. Loretta with her safety consortium and all the different things that she's involved with, our principals, and all the things that I'm involved with. Only thing that makes it difficult sometimes is that for whatever reason, I keep getting placed in leadership positions within these organizations. For instance, WestEd, I'm the current chair. And also I am the AZLS president-elect. So that it's just, and then, continue to be on the AI executive board and other things. So, really involved in a lot of different things that represent, our district, give our community a voice. Because as Mr. Beach was talking about with our community giving us a voice, I want to make sure that I represent our community on a statewide level and give ourselves a voice at the table when we have AIA things, regional things with West Ed and things like that. So it's been very important for us to have, the seat at the table. And so that's something that we're very proud of, that we've been able to do. We look at this and say, okay, who is doing what? For instance, Dr. Lenro and I have been, I think Dr. Lenro is the longest currently on the First Things First board, and I'm the second longest on the First Things First board. And so trying to get replaced on that. Not that we don't appreciate that board, but it's something that we feel it's time for other people to step up and take leadership roles and opportunity. So next slide, please. Again, just all the different things that we're involved with, from local community things as well as the statewide things. Board members being involved, you guys are involved in things as well. And then again, very fortunate to be recognized this year. And then also I was notified by our AZLS team that they nominated me for National Superintendent of the.
Yeah.
Who knows what will happen with that, but just very humbled to be nominated for it as well. Any questions on that?
Ms. De La Riva?
Next thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then feel that we met that.
You meant that one. Ms. De La Riva?
No questions.
Mr. Beach?
Questions?
Mr. Ramirez?
No questions.
Okay, me neither. No questions. Everything. I think you've done a fantastic job, so.
And then the summary there, I think is the last, and again, the board could choose whatever they like to do. This is just what I felt based on the evidence that I've been able to review throughout the year. That my recommendation is that I met 3 of the 4 goals. But again, this is just a recommendation. The board can choose what they. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So then do we have do we need a motion?
It's a motion, yes.
Mhm.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 superintendent's performance-based pay goals, determination as presented. And I believe the amount is 4,484.50.
Yes. Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All righty, we move on now to the out-of-state travel. Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. This was an item that was removed from the consent agenda at the last board meeting. And so I know that the memo was presented. And so I didn't know if the board had any additional questions. I know Mr. Lopez is on the call as well. And Dr. Linville may have may be able to answer additional questions from this item as well.
Do I ask Mr. Ramirez or Mr.
No, I think,
Ramirez?
I think we tabled it because, Mr. Ramirez.
Wasn't here.
Wasn't here and he'd like to say something on it.
Uh-huh.
So Mr. Ramirez?
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, I talked to the superintendent and we discussed my concerns and he answered all my questions. And so I'm good to go. I'm on board. Thank you.
Oh, okay, so he's on board. Any other questions? Nobody? Okay, so
It's a motion.
do we motion that one? Okay, do we have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the out-of-state travel for Dagoberto Lopez and Marinez Alvarez to attend the International Club Tour Training in Rome, Italy, from February 13th through the 16th, 2027, with expenses covered by EF Educational Tours.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Okay, moving on. Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District policies, possible?
No, code as well as a policy for.
Oh, yeah, the book.
So
Mhm.
that's to back in July for discussion and possible board approval.
Okay, moving on. Propose and prioritize topics and possible dates and times for future board meetings. Mr. Verdugo?
It's come to my attention that July 14th is a travel day for, for members, that will be attending ASBO. And so, the question is, if we would like to have a morning meeting that day, and just stick to, a hiring, like our typical, morning hiring meeting, and then come back with our second meeting in July, that might be a little more.
To adopt the budget.
Yeah, well, that could still be part of that.
As long as it's part of that
Yeah,
telephone.
it's just, it can be a telephonic and just conduct, business that needs to be
Business.
conducted, business meeting that needed to be conducted. Or the other recommendation would be to move it to Monday evening, and just have a regular meeting on Monday evening. It's up to the board.
So to you, any,
Either way.
you, Mr.
Yeah, I think, Monday works.
Monday night,
Yeah,
Monday
for
afternoon?
meetings, but I can call in, so Monday would work, but if you guys wanna just hold the meeting as is, and I'll just.
Monday
call
works
it.
Monday works for you. Mr. Ramirez, does Monday work for you?
Does the morning prefer, because we can do just a business meeting on Tuesday morning.
Because we can do it on Tuesday morning. It depends on what you think.
Yeah. That's good. I think Tuesday morning would be my recommendation of the differences, and just hold, that meeting into a business meeting and.
Okay. Are you okay, Ms. De La Riva, with Tuesday? Are you okay with it being Tuesday morning?
Sounds good.
Mr. Ramirez, are you okay with it being Tuesday morning?
Not on anymore.
Okay.
He left.
Yeah, must have got cut off there.
Maybe he got cut off. Do we?
We still have a quorum.
We still have a quorum, okay, so then, do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Yeah, a motion to hold board meeting on Tuesday morning.
Move to approve, let's see, board meeting on Tuesday morning date on that?
July 14th
July 14th.
at 8 AM.
At 8 a.m.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
He's not there anymore, okay, aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. We just need to let Mr. Ramirez know
Yeah,
that we
we'll
will.
put out a notice,
Okay.
community notice after this,
Okay.
notifying the community that it will be a business meeting, putting budget
Okay,
on that day.
all right, so moving on, and the next one is, which one? Is this one, the propose and prioritize topics?
Yeah, is it any additional topics?
Any
that-
topics?
that the board-
Okay, the dates and times for the future board meetings?
We did that. So
We
it's
did
just-
that?
Yeah, it's just the future topics, any additional items.
Does anybody have any future topics?
None.
None? None, I have none either. Okay, moving on. The consent agenda. Okay, approval of the consent agenda. Any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed as regular agenda item or items upon the request of any board member. Ms. De La Riva, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Not Mr.
I have none.
Mr. Ramirez? No, he's not there. I don't have anything. Okay, so then we move on. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, accept, and ratify the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes and we are done, right? Alrighty, and we are done. And I adjourn this meeting at 6:23 PM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.